What's up, everyone? Hope everybody is having a good day. Let me switch this stuff into my headphones. I apologize. Okay. Hope everybody's having a good day, good night. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing if you want. Like, subscribe. Yeah, share it. Whatever, you know, if you want to. That's totally up to you. But yeah, anyway, if you like the type of content that I create, you know, consider, you know, supporting the channel, like I said. But, you know, one thing I'm going to talk about tonight, well, basically all I'm going to talk about tonight, I'm going to talk about a lot, is I'm going to talk about how it is impossible to make genuine friends in 2026. Now, you may have one or two, right? Okay? But, you know, you don't have a lot, right? Like, you may not really have many people or anybody at all, right? And it's just, you know, it is very unfortunate that, you know, things have kind of got to be this way. But I'm going to talk about something here. I will be talking about a tad bit of statistics in this video as well. So yeah, anyway, yeah, so in 2026 it is literally darn near impossible, if not impossible, to make a actual genuine friend, right? And what I mean by this is, you know, like, people today, I've talked about this on my channel before, people today do not understand what a actual, real, genuine friend is. And it's like, you know, it's hard to even deal with this, because it's just, it's very, like, hard to deal with in the sense of, like, the whole mental health problem. You know, like, people obviously have poor mental health, and people just don't really want to try to help you with that. If you do, you know, say you do have some of these people to talk to, right? Like, it's just, you know, it's nothing but mere acquaintances that people consider friends. And see, the thing about that is, you know, yeah, things take time, obviously, right? So, let me switch here. Things take time. Hey, how you doing? And, you know, there is basically a crisis going on, not only with dating, but, you know, just loneliness as a whole. And, you know, believe it or not, you know, studies actually show that, you know, 72% of individuals rarely actually get together with people they've cared about. You know, we've moved from social media, which is, I've talked about social media a lot, how bad it is. We've moved from that to individual media. You know, like nobody wants to, you know, do anything with you anymore. Nobody wants, unless you're like into some bad stuff, right? Like, you know, like getting drunk or something, and it's really unfortunate. But anyway, so the thing is too, is like, you know, it used to not be like this. Like, I remember, you know, when this kind of stuff just wasn't really, it wasn't really like extremely bad like it is now, right? Like it was, you know, there were like places to go, things to do, which I will talk about momentarily. And you know, like the thing with this is not only like, you know, is it like 72%, but like, you know, we have moved on from the third place world. And you may be saying, well, what are you saying? Well, the third place world, basically what I'm referring to, it's dead, bro. Like, it's completely dead. And it's, you know, it's dying at a very, it was dying at a very fast rate, you know, when 2020 hit. You know, COVID did make this worse, but like COVID is not the main factor of this, right? Like, but, you know, we used to have a third place, you know, not home, you know, those who work, it wasn't work, you know, it was different places, you know, like malls, arcades, parks, bowling alleys, you know, are very, they're going out of like style, bro, like skating rinks, there's not a whole lot of that stuff left anymore, you know, and we used to have all this kinds of stuff, but it's like, you know, things have changed now for the worst, and this is, you know, has all been replaced. It's either too damn expensive to do, or it's all digital, bro. Like, it's one or the other. And like, this doesn't provide the same oxytocin hit that, you know, you would normally get by sitting next to someone, like, you know, at an arcade, or you know, stuff like that, where you could actually, you know, make, you know, I'm not bashing online friends here. I think online friends are great. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just talking about friends as a whole, really. But like, you know, it's changed for the worst, and you know, it's basically like a rejection hyper-awareness, you know, that's going on, because, you know, we interact so much through, like, the socials, the phone. We've pretty much just become hypersensitive to, you know, perceived rejection. And, you know, if someone doesn't text back, we just assume they hate us, you know, which makes us stop trying to make new friends really altogether, to be honest. And, you know, this is a brutal place to be in. You know, it's completely brutal. Like, I would not really want to, you know, anyone to be here. Like, I wish we wasn't here, but, you know, we are. You know, and the thing is, you know, you may say, oh, well, you know, you're speaking my language. It's not just you. It's not just you. It's not just me. you know, this is a worldwide problem. You know, and you know, you also got to go by the 5200 rule. So basically, you know, science, actual science says, you know, it takes about 50 hours of shared time to move from acquaintance to a casual friend, right? So 50 hours of spending time with somebody, that gets you the casual friend, right? That is excluding fake people, you know, people, narcissists, all that. I'm excluding all that crap, right? I'm talking about actual genuine people. So, you know, people who are not like that, but I know that's few and far between anymore, it seems like, but anyway, so, you know, you got that working for you, going for you, and then to top it all off, right, you know, not only do you have that, but, you know, it also takes 200 plus hours to become a close friend. You know, in 2026, finding 200 hours to give to a stranger is damn near impossible. Because the way that they have everything set up, you know, you're working almost all of your freaking time, you're awake. Then you got to eat, go back to sleep, do it all over again for those who work. For those who don't, they just don't even really try at this point anymore. And, you know, I have had people that I have spent more than 200 hours with, and that are online friends, and, you know, I'm pretty grateful for them. And it's like, you know, here's the thing, you know, it's like someone can, like, and this is not like a, you know, like, this doesn't mean, like, if you're just spending time with an acquaintance, like, 2 hours, like, once a month, okay, that does not guarantee you a friend in this case with these statistics. I'm going to say that now. But, like, you know, it's really brutal to have to deal with this because people need human connection. People need, you know, a lot of people around and whatnot. But, like, you know, most adults, you know, they already have close friend circles if they have them, right? So, I'm speaking about the ones who do. And, you know, to get in, you know, you also, like, you often have to be kind of, like, aggressively friendlier than all of these people in the group, right? And, like, even then, that really doesn't promise you that you will get in, right? So, it sucks. Most people don't want to have human connection. Yeah, I mean, it does, bro. Like, but, like, you know, I feel like that at the same time, though, it's just, you really just can't win for losing because, you know, nobody really wants to be civil anymore and all of this stuff. And, you know, it's just, it's gotten really bad out of hand, right? So, good topic, thanks. But, you know, the one who consistently asks to hang out, you know, this feels more awkward and exhausting to a lot of people. And, you know, really it shouldn't be this way, bro. Like, if a person is asking to hang out a lot, or, you know, they're wanting to hang out with you a lot, you know, that is actually a good sign, actually. It's just, you know, people have just been completely desensitized to what a friend is. They, you know, it's kind of like the "you will own nothing and be happy" kind of saying. It's "you will be alone and be happy." You know, that's how that all this stuff is set up now. Like, it's just, it's brutal. But, like, you know, the thing about this though is like, it's honestly really sad because, I mean, so take this into consideration, right? So I'm playing this game right here. You know, it has over 180 characters on it, okay? And, you know, but in real life, you know, my roster is probably just very few people. You know, I mean, is that just weird, or is that just 2026? You have to ask yourself this. No, this is just 2026, bro. The world has changed, bro. It's gotten a lot different, and you know, not for the good, bro. Like as far as this stuff goes, it's this stuff right here, it's just really brutal to have to deal with. But like at the same time, you know, you're trying to, you know, make friends. It's like people don't even really want to try. And, you know, loneliness actually is equivalent to smoking a lot of cigarettes a day, right? Like it's just as deadly, if not even worse. Okay? And it's like, you know, it's really brutal. And, you know, we live in a society now, you might as well just call it the disposable people culture. And I'll say it again, you might as well just call it the disposable people culture, because that is exactly how this stuff works now, whether it's family, a spouse, friends, you know, all of this, okay? These people, they replace you, they get rid of you, they don't really care about you in a lot of cases. And you know, sadly, this is very prominent today. You know, because we have like the ghosting epidemic, right? You know, we've talked about ghosting on the channel. Ghosting is at an all-time high, you know, and not just in relationships, you know, like dating, but it's also in friendships, family, you know, it's in all of it, bro. Like, you can't hardly get away from it. And that's what people want to do, you know. People treat relationships kind of like a browser tab, bro. Like, you know, they just close out when they're bored, bro. Like, that's literally how it works, and I'll say it again. They just close you out like you're a browser tab when they're bored. And you know, this is honestly the sad reality. It's sad but true, but, you know, what can be done about it? I don't know, because nothing's going to be done about it. It's not going to change. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse from here. And it's like, you know, you try everything, try different things and stuff, right? And it's like, you know, nothing works, right? So, you know, you keep trying and trying and trying. It's like, you know, your effort never pays off, it seems. But, you know, another thing, too, is like low stakes and low loyalty stuff. You know, obviously, like, you know, because it's pretty much so easy now to find a replacement, you know, acquaintance, you know, whether it's online people in real life, they don't really even put in the work to fix a misunderstanding. That's it. Once that happens, you're done. Once there's a misunderstanding, that they will completely and utterly abandon you. I had a guy in my Discord server do this. Like, literally abandon the whole server, abandon everybody, right? And it was like, you know, this guy was like, oh, well, I'm just this good Christian, you know, I'm trying to be a good Christian. It's like, bro, you literally just abandoned an entire server of people that thought of you as a friend, you know, like what the actual heck, bro? Like, but it's like, you know, he doesn't care. But, like, you know, that's his problem. That's not really mine, and it's not really anybody in my Discord server's problem, obviously. But, you know, and then, you know, we got the classic one here that I've talked about many, many, many times on this channel, right? And that is the transactional friendship, bro. Like, I mean, you know, yeah, dating, a lot of it's transactional, and, you know, friendships are no different. It's transactional, man. Like, it's brutal too, but this is not going to change. This is not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse. And, you know, I wish that I could say that it would get better, but it's not going to, y'all. It's really not going to. You know, and it's like, you know, you also got to do, like, you know, value checks as well, because, you know, here's the thing. These people you talk to, I want you to think about this really carefully. Now, if you talk to people on Discord, if you talk to people in real life, if you talk to people on PlayStation, Xbox, whatever you're talking to them on, you know, do they only text you when they're bored? You know, do they only text you when they're sad or need a favor or all of this? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't care. A lot of people's like, well, only text me if you need something like this. Like, you'll hear someone say, oh, well, just text me if you need anything. And it's like, you know, a lot of times they say this, it's just complete BS, but, you know, they're part of the problem, bro. Like, you know, they do the same thing. They don't really care about talking to these individuals. And I don't know why these characters are staying far away from me like that, but you know, and it's like, you know, here's the thing. You know, also ask yourself this: are these so-called friends you have, are they fair weather friends? That's what you really have to ask yourself, because, you know, they're obviously there for the, like, level 100 hype moments, right? Like, I'm going to do a little bit of gamer talk here. They're obviously there during the level 100 hype moments, or like the height of the fight or whatever. But, like, you know, when it's raining, but the second your HP is low, bro, it's it. They are nowhere to be found. They simply just vanish, like they never existed. And, you know, I've had this problem my entire life. But, you know, it got worse when times changed. You know, and it's just brutal to have to, you know, really deal with this. But, yeah, you know, are they still there when your HP is low? That's a question you have to ask yourself. Are they really there, bro? You know, this is for men and women. This topic. So, you know, another thing too. We also got, like, the comparison trap too that you got to talk about, because, you know, in 2026, you know, basically everyone is actually just constantly comparing themselves to their lives to others' lives. You know, sometimes these so-called friends are actually just low-key competing with you. You see this a lot in the middle-class spaces. And what I mean by this is middle class are doing this all the time. Who's got the better car? Who's got the better house? Who has the better career? Who cooks the better grill out food? Who's doing what better, right? It's a contest to them. You know, and if you don't believe me, just simply monitor their behavior. Monitor, you know, how they treat people, how they are. Like, just monitor it. Like, you know, and you will see the same thing. So, you know, these people obviously do it. But here's the thing. It's not just exclusive to middle-class individuals. I'm just using this as an example. But, like, you know, they are kind of notorious for doing this. But like another thing too is like it's everybody, bro. Like it's more. I don't want to be him. It's more than just. Like it's more than just, you know. It's just, you know, it's more than just like them competing. You know, because a lot of these people have like main character syndrome. You know, this is big in politics. This is big in dating. It's big in friendship. Sadly, but it's like, you know, it's like, you know, there is an extreme lack of empathy. You know, and you know, not only is there like an extreme lack of empathy, but you know, to top it all off, you know, no one is sympathetic, no one like anymore, it seems, because thanks, I'm trying, but like no one is really, no one really cares. That's the problem. And I'll say it again. No one really cares, sadly. And that's the whole damn problem. But you know, another thing too is like, you know, a lot of these people, like, don't get me wrong, I'm all of a sudden like, you know, like gonna say something kind of different, but like, you know, don't get me wrong, I'm all about good vibes, right? I'm all about this, but this is an excuse for most people, because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm just protecting my peace, my energy. They're using this as an excuse to be selfish, you know, flaky, and it's like, you know, they're using it in a way to where it's absolutely just not good, right? And it's just, it's a big problem. You know, it's hard to trust someone who uses like therapeutic speak basically to kind of just justify being a bad friend. That's the thing. A lot of these people justify being a bad friend. It's like, you know, it's ridiculous, but like, you know, it's going on more than ever now. Like you can't get away from it. Everyone you talk to, it seems like anymore, is doing this kind of crap, because you just can't catch a break. And you know, it's just really sad because, like I said, you know, it's fair weather friends. You know, when they're not there, you know, they're not there. Sorry, they're not there when it's raining, but they sure as hell might be there when the sun is shining, right? When you can give them something, when they can use you. These people are nothing but energy vampires, bro. Like, that's all they are. They show up when you're at high energy, basically, and, you know, fun, because it's like, you know, you're content for them. You're the entertainment. And it's like, you know, a lot of these people that drive around town, like middle-class individuals nosing around, busybodies. You know, these people are energy vampires. Now, these people have no lives. Sure, you might say, oh, well, they have a career, they do this, they do that. That does not mean you have a life, bro. You know, your life, you could have one of the greatest careers on planet Earth and still be a pathetic excuse for a person. Like, you know, you can still be a bad person. You know, I mean, take a look at, like, Donald Trump, right? Terrible person. I mean, all these people in politics are, but like, take a look at Donald Trump. You know, people praise this guy, but yet, you know, he is a terrible person. You know, there's nothing really good about him, like in the sense of like his personality or, you know, the type of person he is, as well as all these other political people. You know, and family does this too. friends do this, you know, dating, all this, bro. Like it's all the same stuff. And you know, here's the thing. You know, anymore, you know, it's easy. It's more easier now than ever to ignore the rain that somebody's going through, bro, because there's just a constant mute button. They press the mute button all the time, and what I mean by that is, you know, if you post something sad or reach out for help, people can just swipe past you. It's pretty much just digital convenience. They don't really care. You know, you know, and then there's also like surface level check-ins, right? You know, it's like talking about like people who send like a, oh, you okay? You know, like I've talked about this many a times on the channel before. It's like, you know, that also goes into gang stalking too. But like, you know, you'll get these texts, but they never actually show up. Like what I mean by that is they want credit for caring about. They want credit for caring without doing the work, basically, of actually being there, right? And you know, what it is they think, you know, that makes them look good. They think, oh, well, look at me. I didn't do any work, so I still look good. Like, it's like, you know, when you really think about this and you're a logical standpoint person, you see how stupid this is. You see how bad this kinds of type of behavior are, because it's pathetic, honestly. Like, it doesn't get any better with these people. But, you know, if you have a friend, this is what I want you to do. If you have a friend, I want you to do the rain test on them. Seriously. Do the rain test on them. Because these people, they will stay when the weather got bad. You know, they will see you at your lowest HP, you know, and they didn't hit leave match button. I'll say it again. Now, I'm going to use gamer terms here for this. So, that person stayed when the weather got bad. So, let's just say you're having a bad day, like, you know, it's really bad. You got depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, whatever, right? Whatever you got going on. That's really bad like that. Okay? Say in your mind there are tornadoes on the ground, and I'm talking more than one. I'm talking about just big tornadoes raging. You know, rain is pouring, the hail is falling, you know, the winds is up. You know, obviously I'm speaking metaphorical here. But, like, you know, seriously, think about it in this light. Because, you know, not only that, but, like, you know, the rain test, if these people pass the rain test, these here, they saw you at your lowest HP. They saw the tornadoes on the ground. They saw, you know, the rain falling down, the hail beating down, the winds beating around. They saw it all, but here's the thing. They did not hit the leave match button. They stood by you. They completed the match with you. Now, this is very extremely rare. I'm going to tell you now, if you have a friend like this, make sure you cherish them. You know, I'm this type of friend, you know, with my friends. And I got one in particular that I know is like that with me. But, like, you know, I kind of think probably some of the others are like this too, though. And, you know, that's a good thing. So, you know, another thing too is like the whole... Okay, so I'm gonna put this kind of like, say, like a loyalty shield, right? So, see how I'm fighting all these characters right here? Like, actually, you know, bam, look at that. I just switched the character on my team. Okay, so, you know, while you know, you see that? Like, this is a team, bro. But here in the real world, most people are just spectators. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Most people are just spectators, and this is a problem. You know, they cheer when you win, but they're the first ones out on the stadium when it starts pouring. And, you know, it's just very sad because I just wish it could be better than this. I really do. But it never will, because people do not want to change. They don't want to... They don't want to put in the effort. They don't want to put in the work. Same with relationships. The least little thing you do, things that ain't even, like, bad, you know, they'll drop you. They will literally drop you at the top of a hat, bro. Like, that's the way that it is now, and it sucks. It sucks really freaking bad. Like, it honestly pisses me off. Like, it really does, because, you know, me or you or anybody watching this video, and even people not watching this video, should not have to deal with this. Like, I don't care who you are, you should obviously have somebody. But, like, it's brutal out there. I mean, you know, here's the thing. Also, take a think of it like this. So, think about it like this. So, you have unlimited data on your phone, right? Until you actually need to talk. Then suddenly their signal drops the second your life gets a bit cloudy. It's very much like that, bro. Like, say you got unlimited data, okay, like on your phone. Say you got like a T-Mobile plan, right? It's kind of like that. Like, you know, you got unlimited data, you know, you can talk anytime you want. Here's the thing, though. These people don't want to talk when you're down, when your HP is low, when it's raining. They don't care, bro. You got to get these people out of your life. Stop, you know, if you can find genuine people, I suggest you do it. Don't give up trying until you at least find one. Now, this could be a spouse, a friend, you know. I mean, I get it, preferably a spouse. I mean, but this is a friend video. You know, here's the thing, you know, another thing too is, like, with the whole thing with, like, the rain monologue that I was talking about, you know, everybody also wants to be, like, at the victory party, but nobody wants to sit, like, in the dugout when it's raining, right? You know, if you weren't there when I was struggling to find my footing, don't expect a seat when I'm at the top, bro. I'm going to tell you that right now. When I'm at the top, your ass is gone. Like, I'm gonna tell you that now, because, you know, I'm not saving you a seat. I'm not going to do it, because you are not there for me. So why would I save you a freaking seat, bro? You know, so it's just it's brutal, because, you know, this should not be the way that it is. It really honestly shouldn't. And But it is, bro. It freaking is. And, you know, I hate it. Like, I honestly do. I hate that it has to be this way, you know. But, like, you know, it's not going to get no better, though. You know, but, you know, another thing too is, like, you got to realize, you know, me personally, I've realized my circle is small. You know, it's like, you know, it's just filtered out. You know, when the rain's washed away, all the people who were just there for the tan. You know, there were people just there for the tan, and those people are gone, bro, because I got rid of them. You know, and it's like you got to be like this, you know. Say you got one friend. What you say to this one friend, bro, is look, you know, when they stayed during the storm like this, bro, tell them you're the only one getting an invite to the post game. Everyone else, bro, enjoy the rain. Enjoy the freaking rain, because it's not going to happen. You're not getting it. Like, I mean, it's just the nerve of these freaking people, bro. Like, it just, I don't know, it just really amazes me at times. But then again, it doesn't surprise me, if that makes sense. But, you know, another thing too is like, you know, say like with this game right here, you know, this like, and this could be like, you know, anime, obviously, any anime, because this is an otaku channel, any anime, right? So, but I'm going to use Sparky Zero for an example, since that is what I'm playing. But this goes for any characters I like, waifus, all of that. So, you know, here's the thing when it comes to this. There's no betrayal. Unlike real people, you know, who leave when it rains, let me tell you something. Goku will always be Goku, bro. You know, he's not faking it. You know, same thing, like, say, with Vegeta. Vegeta's growth is written in stone, brother. Like, you know, you know exactly where you stand with them. Like, you know, and this goes for all characters, right? Like, you know, all anime characters, stuff like that, for like us otakus. It goes for all of it, waifus included. You know, and another thing too is, you know, not only is it no betrayal, but they're always there, bro. You know, when you're having like a bad day, say, I don't know, 3 a.m. or maybe 12 p.m., whatever, you know, whatever it is, and your real friends are asleep and basically ignoring their phones, or maybe even ignoring you, bro. And what I mean by real friends, that is people that are obviously not real friends, put real with quotation marks around it. I'm talking friends that are not really your friends, that just people you talk to, acquaintances, stuff like that, right? No, if they're ignoring you, bro, get rid of them. Seriously, if they are ignoring you, get rid of them. Do not waste your time with them. You know, you can just turn on an episode or play a game with these characters, and those characters are right there with you, bro. At all times, man. So, you know, and another thing too is like, you know, you also got like, you know, an emotional anchor too, kind of thing. I guess that's how you would say it. But like, you know, you've probably spent more quality time watching these characters grow than you have with 90% of the people you actually went to school with, right? Or maybe even 100% of people you went to school with, right? Like I mean, but, you know, that creates a real, you know, psychological bond, bro. And, you know, in 2026, like, it's a good way to cope. It's a good way to it's good to have, you know. You know, who cares if they're just characters, you know? There's a saying, you know, they may not be real to you, but they're real to me. And another thing, too, is, like, waifus are obviously, like, very good housewife-type characters. Like, 90-something% of them would be, like, and, you know, for the people that's, like, you know, for the men who can't find, like, a spouse, I mean, there you go, bro. Like, but, it's just, you know, it's a safe space, you know, and you don't have to deal with ghosting and none of that. You know, they embody the traits you actually value. These waifus do, these characters do. The traits you value, they have, and Okay, that was a good dodge right there. Not gonna lie, Cellmax. You know, it's like, how do I say this? You know, it's like, another thing too is like, you know, take like this game here. So like, you know, like as far as waifus go for like, you know, a man who wants a wife, right? So take like waifus like in Dragon Ball, right? Like, you know, like Android 18, right? She's a ride or die type of woman, you know, and that is very good. That is very good. That's Hinata from Naruto. That's another one. That's ride or die. Sakura. I mean, I could go on, bro. And they also have selflessness, you know. Like, a lot of these characters are obviously written to be supportive, nurturing, you know, protective. A lot of them are kind of clingy. A lot of them are kind of possessive. You know, they... In a world, you know, that's like people are just self-prioritizing, you know, it makes these concepts really feel more better. You know, and then you got like the peace factor, you know, it represents a peaceful home, you know, no mind games, no testing you, no drama for the sake of views, you know, no people just wanting you to shovel out money, you know, all that, bro. Like, that's how these waifus are, you know, and if they were real, they wouldn't even be like this, right? You know, but like I say, you know, they're real to us, so why does it matter to you? It's rare to find these kinds of females. I agree, bro. Like, I agree. It's just, you know, like, I feel like at the same time, you know, yeah, I know you are. I feel like at the same time, like, how do I say this? You know, they have like kind of like, you know, loyalty, selflessness, and the peace is like a superpower, you know, and, you know, the other thing too is like social media, you know, makes it seem like, you know, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side. You know, like, they just feel like they always have 100 other options. You know, let me tell you something, bro. A waifu is chosen, and it stays. She stays chosen. Sorry. And it's like, you know, me personally, I don't share my waifus, bro. Like, I mean, I'll be honest. You know, I got like a whole bunch of them, but like, you know, you don't have to worry about the transactional trap with that, none of that. You know, and it's like, you know, relationships in 2026, they're transactional. That's all they are most of the time. And, you know, it's like, it's, with this, you know, it's like, what can you do for me today? You know, what kind of good time can we have when it comes to these characters? And, you know, it's a genuine experience. And it's just, I don't know, I think it's overall better. You know, and it's like, you know, it's just, you know, there has been waifu talk everywhere for me. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm talking good about them, obviously. If they're talking negative about them, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, you know, say now I'm gonna kind of go into this. So since I'm playing Sparking Zero Dragon Ball, I'll kind of tell you what I'm kind of meaning. So like I said, you know, like 18, right? She's the ultimate ride or die type of woman. You know, she's tough. You know, she she's 100% loyal to Krillin, you know, and she doesn't care if he's the strongest. She doesn't care if he's the weakest. She only cares that he's a good man. And, you know, that is a good woman. That is one reason why I really love 18, because, you know, she really, you know, she's a very good housewife. Okay, I'm gonna have to switch. Come on then, let's play. But like, you know, the thing is like, you know, say like, okay, Videl, right? So Videl, you know, she's all about growth, and, you know, she went from being kind of skeptic to Gohan to like his biggest supporter and completely madly in love and obsessed with him, right? So it's like, you know, that's a win-win, bro. But that's hard to find in this world. Another one, Chi-Chi, right? You know, people's always memeing on Chi-Chi, like kind of hating on Chi-Chi. You know, but here's the thing, though. She's the glue, bro. She is the glue. Like, and what I mean by that is, you know, she's a good woman. She is a good wife. You know, she keeps the house running, you know, while her husband was literally saving the universe or even dead, bro. You know, until he, like, came back and crap. But, like, you know, that is high-level management right there. That right there, that is a high-level woman right there. And, you know, it's just, you know, these waifus make better wife material than over 90% of women, brother. Like, I'm being honest with you. And, you know, if you're an otaku, you probably agree with me. You probably do. But, like, it's just, you know, people need to mind their own business. So what if you have waifus, bro? Like, I don't really care what they think of me. I mean, you know, like, but, like, as I was saying, you know, take this. Really? Okay, that was pretty good. Get out of here. You know, and here's the thing. It's like, you know, these people let you down, but yet, you know, these characters won't let you down, bro. And, you know, they don't never betray you. You know, they're always there. You know, it's always a bond. You know, as far as characters and waifus go, another one. The waifus, no rejection. The ideal wife type. You know. You know, it's like, you know, real people in today's world, bro, like, it's just... And, you know, and another thing, too, like, there's a lot of bad men in the world, too. So it's like, you know, husbandos for women otakus, right? Like, you know, that's a good outlet they have. I'm glad they have it, bro. Like, you know, it's good. You know, a lot of these guys are pretty good genuine guys. But like, you know, yeah, y'all, like, it's just, I figured I would come on here and rant about this, obviously, because it's just really highly annoying that we kind of just really have to deal with this. So, anyway, though, I will say this. If you do have these good friends, right? Cherish them. You know, like I said, do the rain test on these people that you talk to. I don't care. Do it to all of them. Seriously, do it to all of them. And, you know, see who's there when it's raining. You know, when the tornadoes are on the ground, bro. Like, you know, in a metaphorical sense, bro. Seriously. Try it out sometime and see where it gets you. Because here's the thing. It's better for you to not have these people in your life than you to have these people in life and just, you know, talk to them and they don't even care, bro. Like, but, like, you know, too many people are content with that kind of crap. And it's like, you know, it's just ridiculous, you know. They're content with it because they're that type of person too. But anyway, you know, yeah, it's just, it's brutal out there. But anyway, I wanted to also talk about something that I've got something new coming to this channel. Now, I had actually thought of this before, but I was like, didn't know if I really wanted to do it. So I'm going to start doing tier lists on this channel to do with like different otaku stuff, anime or other like games from Asia, stuff like that. I'm currently working on like a Resident Evil tier list to that I can stream, and I will be talking about it. You know. And, you know, like basically putting these characters in a certain tier that I think they belong in, obviously. I'm pretty sure you've seen tier list videos, but yeah, I do got that coming, so if you like that type of sort of thing, stay tuned for that. But, anyway, like, yeah, as far as the friends thing goes, it's just brutal, right? Like, it's absolutely brutal, and this problem is not going away. It's not going to stop. But anyway, you guys take care. Obviously be thankful for characters, and don't forget, you know, you have God as well. That is one friend right there that will not let you down. I can tell you that right now from personal experience, bro. I can tell you that from personal experience. You know, I've let him down, but you know, that won't let you down and stuff. So yeah, that's the friend that won't let you down. It's just like these characters, you know. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna end this one here, and hope everybody is doing well and stuff and all that. You know, you just gotta hang in there, obviously. I know it's hard, but it's all you can really do. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna end this one here, and I hope all of you have a wonderful day, wonderful night, wherever it is. Time of day it is for you, right? And all that. So yeah, anyway, I will see you all next time. God bless you all, and peace.